Hello everyone, this is Assassins and Templars, a battle in Myth and Blood by Steve Tibble. And before I do that, I want to mention these because they kind of pertain to my idea here. So we've got Sniper and Stalk and Kill, both by Adrian Gilbert. These are sniper books. These are detailed accounts of modern day snipers doing their job. Literally each mission explained to you. And matter of fact, it was, in some places it was so detailed I was getting a little bored with them, but otherwise, good modern record keeping on snipers, modern day ninjas with guns doing their jobs. And so when I bought this, I thought, I'm gonna get something like that. These original ninjas going about their business, how they get in, like the how-to. And unfortunately, you don't get that. This is like 90% geopolitics, at least. And I can explain those geopolitics very simply. Except for Syria, which was apparently pretty stable at the time. The rest of the Middle East was a chaos. It was, it seemed to have ruler of the week syndrome depending on where you were. And it could be a lot of little areas just all at war with each other, looking to, either make allies or take this over. It was literally, here's my religion, and it's different from your religion over there, and I want your land and I want power over you. So we're raising an army and we're gonna get you. And so the assassins, though, their little sect, they were the same way. Our religion is different, but we want your land and all your stuff, and we're gonna rule the world. But they didn't have the financing. They didn't have the ability to raise an army. So the original guy who headed all this up said, well, we're going to do this stealth-like. We're going to do this in the shadows. And they had their elite forces that were the assassins. Then they had people who were like, well, we're going to send you guys in, and you're going to become part of the populace. You're going in disguise, get a job, make friends, make contacts. And then when we want that citadel, boom, and it's a fight. And they kill the people they need to and take over. And then they make sure that the townsfolk are well taken care of. It didn't seem to be like an iron hand rulership. It was, we're your buddies now. We're going to provide for you. And they did, and they had some stability for the most part. That's not to say they didn't have their downs, but this only has a few stories as far as I got, which are actually interesting. The first one starts out at the very beginning of the book. This one guy they wanted to get, and these two guys, they sent two assassins to go in disguise. And as I said, they made friends and contacts. And one of them, in fact, some friend they made, he kind of found out about them, found all their killing equipment. And he's like, he's going to turn them in, but they had to threaten him, said, no, you're not going to do that. We're going to get you. And eventually they did go get their target. In this case, however, they did kill him, but they paid for it with their lives, because then the soldiers around them just jump them and take them and kill them. There seems to be a lot of that. That a lot of these assassins didn't survive the moment, but they weren't there to be martyred. They were not suicidal. Like, I'm going to kill this guy and go off to my heaven. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to survive. It was important that they get away. It's just a lot of times they did not. It appears the Templars were the same way. I didn't know that the two groups. This book is really good for history buffs. If you're a history buff, you'll probably like this. But for example, I'm not. I find it interesting sometimes, but I did not know that the Templars and these assassins existed at the same time. I didn't even know that. And so, they couldn't. They decided to. Well, let me just do some missions, I guess. Another one was, and this is actually my favorite one, because it's just the balls this one guy had. So they go to take over this citadel, and boom, they got all their people in there, and they start to take over. There's one problem. A lot of the men were out and away or around in the town, but in the actual castle, the fortress, that's where the assassins were. And there were a bunch of women in there. They're like, we're not putting up with this. And the women got all the arms and fought back and started killing assassins. And then at one point, I guess they needed to get some men in there, the soldiers, and it had to do with throwing this line down this one window, and they could climb up and get in and start retaking their fortress, and they did. So girl power. But this one guy, this one assassin, he got into this room and he had no way out, and so the soldiers as a group go to this room, and the guy in charge starts sending guys in. Go get that guy. And one after another, guys either they kept coming out wounded or they got killed. And the assassin inside to the ruler's like, why don't you come in here and try and get me out? And said guy was smart enough not to go in there. And eventually somebody went in and took him out. But I thought that was balls. That was awesome. That'd be a good something to see in a TV show or movie. Another had this really strange occurrence where they went and got this guy, and he was surrounded by soldiers, by bodyguards, and these 10 assassins went at this guy, and they did manage to get him. But when they did hit him and stab him, and the soldiers, one assassin out of 10 got away. The others were killed on the spot. Some of them were held and tortured. But when the attack happened, this guy got stabbed up. Apparently, he just kept walking like nothing happened, like he couldn't believe this happened to him. And he made it as far as the door, I guess, and that was the end of him. If I'm remembering that right. In some cases, there was like an attack where they got a guy and lost their lives. And then like a year later, someone died from their wounds. And so but they're not that detailed on, how with all these missions. There's just not enough missions mentioned in here. Again, it's about what this ruler wanted and this land they wanted and what was going in here. Too much geopolitics instead of the detailed assassinations, which is what I was after. I only made it about as far as there's a picture section in the middle that's about halfway. And once I got there, I'm just like, I'm done. That's enough for me. It's not quite what I wanted. Not the cool awesomeness of these missions that I was after. Too bad. Oh well. It was in the wrong section anyway when I found it. It was somebody put it in the fantasy section. I just thought, oh, well, I'm getting that. That sounds very interesting. No, not quite. But so far, so good with the next video I'm doing. This is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I've heard nothing but good things about John Gwynne. This will be my first John Gwynne book. And I've already started it, and so far, where am I at? Page 28, that's it, but so far that's a good 28 pages. So, legends tell of the great long ago battle of the gods. Let's see, from master storyteller John Gwynne comes a Norse-inspired epic of blood and vengeance. When the gods fought, it was a battle so savage, they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echo over the fjords and across the plains, fate follows in the footsteps of 3 warriors, a huntress on a perilous quest, a noblewoman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall, a slave, a former slave actually, seeking a retribution among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All 3 will change the course of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. There's where'd it go? I guess they're not kidding about the gods with their bones on the battlefield, because here's a map, and this is actually some long snake-like skeleton with the head right over there. So I wonder if that was a literal giant snake that just fell on the battlefield. But we'll find out. That is next week. Looking forward to this a lot. because so far it's a really good 28 pages to start with. So a powerful start, which I am very happy with. That's it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, it's been single-digit temperatures. Temperatures in the teens, and next week it's going to be in the 30s. Oh, boy. I can't wait because I work outside all day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.